So now I'm going to do some for loops. And so what a loop is it's a section of code that repeats itself until some kind of condition is met. So if you're drawing a square, you can say go forward, turn right 4 times to draw a square. What I want to do is inside my VStack, I want to do 2 for loops. One to go through the words, the letters in the word. And then another one to actually grab all of the alphabet and to display that over here. So the very first one that I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm actually changed this V stack to an H stack. And inside my H stack, I'm going to do a for each. And now I'm going to tell it how many times to go through. And I'm going to start my index at 0 because computers count starting at 0. And I'm going to say go until it's less than my letters in a word. And so actually my computer is helping me autofill that. Letters in a word. But I don't want the letters in a word. I want the letters in a word count, because I could have this be maybe instead of a 3-letter word, I wanted a 4 or 5-letter word. So I'm saying, hey, you computer, you count how many letters I have or how many question marks I have. And then go until you get right, as long as it's less than that. And I say less than because I basically don't want to go over this. And I'll show you that. And I'll show you, play around with this a little bit. Then I'm going to do an ID. Whew, what the heck is ID? Whoa, I'm going to undo that. So an ID, and I'm going to do ID colon / dot self. So I'm not quite sure what that other code was that just popped up. What this is every element in a list has a position known to itself. And what I'm doing is I'm telling the computer to basically identify it in the position that it's in. This actually, because computers start counting at 0, this is actually position 0, this is position 1, and this is position 2. So I'm telling the computer to go through and identify where it is in the array. Then what I want to do is I'm going to notice I've got some errors right here, and that's because I didn't tell the computer when to start or stop. So I'm going to open up my curly brackets, and I'm going to say, what am I going to grab? I'm going to grab the text, and now I'm going to grab the letters in Word. There we go. And I'm going to grab the index, which the index right here is set as 0, 1, and 2 again. And so I'm going to grab the index, and that should auto-populate. It looks like it's auto-populating kind of crazy somewhere. So I'm just going to say index. All right, and let's see. This should be working. I'm missing something. It's probably because I typed kind of slow. Hang on, I probably am missing something. Index in, oh, it's right here. I'm missing the index in itself right here. So I'm trying to grab the index and I never tell it. So over here, I need to say index in. There we go. And there. So we're going to get more of a lesson on this later. But for right now, just kind of trust me. Oh, and look, my line wrapped right here. So this is not on its own line. So if I were to zoom out, you can actually see that it zooms out. Ooh, so I now have 3 question marks. So this is not a text. So if you are not following along with this video and you just put 3 question marks as a text over here, because that's very possible to do, it's going to look a lot like this with just 3 question marks. Oh, that's 4. That's not correct. What I'm doing is I'm telling the computer, look at the letters in the word. For each letters in the word, take it, identify it, and display it out. So if I were to go up here and add another question mark, then the fourth one jumps up here. So I'm displaying this and displaying this out. All right. So this is what gets identified over here. Just showing. So I did an A at the end just to show. It can identify what's in there. The next thing that I'm going to do, and the last thing I'm going to do on this video is, because these videos are getting long, I'm going to do a grid. It's called a lazy grid to display out all of the letters of the alphabet. So below my H stack, now notice my H stack actually ends right here. So I'm going to go below my H stack. I'm going to put in what's called my lazy. Look, so I've got some. I'm going to do what's called a lazy V grid. And let's see what my options were with that. I know, find it. Oh, I've got some columns, alignment spacing. So I do have some options here. Let's see, do I want that one? Yeah, I guess that could work. So I'm going to do columns. It's going to say grid item. I don't want fixed though. So here I want my grid item to be adaptive. And what I mean by this is it's going to, as my preview gets bigger or smaller, I want it to adjust based off of how big or small my preview is. So that's going to be adaptive. So I'm going to say adaptive, and I'm going to say minimum CG float. I'm going to put 100. Really, you can put a number. We can play around with those numbers in a second. And I don't need a maximum, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then my content in here is going to be my other for loop. So I don't need two. I'm going to do my for each again. And I'm going to say now my letters, because I'm grabbing my letters over here. And I'm going to do my ID again. And I'm going to tell it to do the ID dot self. And then this is going to be my current letter in. So notice I did an index in and then I called it here. This is going to be a current letter in. And that is going to be in my text. And here is my current letter. So if I did this right, something is freaking out over here. Let me see, lazy V grid, my columns, G, grid items. I have it adaptive. I have a feeling it's right here because I got rid of something. I'm going to get rid of this. Something's not happy right here. I'm going to get rid of this. Minimum ID. Oh, it's right here. So I'm actually going to put that back. It's because I have a comma right here and it's expecting more information. See if that was it. Yep. So it was because I had that minimum and then maximum, and I didn't need the maximum, so I forgot to get rid of that comma. So now I have the whole alphabet, and this is probably a lot faster to do a for each loop that takes the letters that is in the variable above and does the ID for the current letters and then displays those out. So you can play around with what this minimum and maximum. So as you can see, it makes it a little bit further apart. This is just, will eventually get a little bit easier to read. I guess you can make it bigger. And then it's adaptive in that if I make this wider, I've got, let's see, I've got, it readjusts based off of how large your display is. So now it's 4 columns, where before it was like, what, 7? So that's what the adaptive part does. So now I have my where to guess and then my letters. Now nothing's clickable, nothing happens over here, but I at least have that set up. You know what, before I move, what I do want to do real quick is I want to just kind of frame this out. So I'm going to, above my H stack, I'm going to put in a text that just kind of labels this 3-letter word, Hackwitch. I'm going to modify that with a frame because you know how I love frames. And we're going to do a, yeah, we'll do option. I'm going to do, get rid of these. We're going to do a max width of, well, yeah, we'll keep it as an infinity. I don't need a minimum. Max height infinity, that's fine. And we're going to do a font title. There we go. Then, you know what? That height, push that down. That max height infinity, push that down. So I actually want to get rid of that too. Let's get rid of that one. We're just going to have it go across. That'll pull it back up. And then I want to put the H stack. I'm going to modify those two real quick. So right under here where it says the letters in the word index, I'm going to modify that real quick. And let's do a frame, but let's do like that one. So I'm going to hold down option. And I'm going to do widths. Let's do 75. Heights, alignment center. That's good. Background style. I'm going to do gray. You can do whatever color you want. And I'm going to do a foreground color of, or foreground style of whites so that they're like the squares. Hang on. Why didn't that work? What am I forgetting here? They all disappeared. Foreground style, background style, frame. I don't see. What happened? They like totally disappeared. Background style, gray. That's really weird. Okay, I'll play around with that. My goal is to get gray squares, but it's not working right now. If you guys see it and you're like yelling at me in the computer screen, that would be awesome. Let's try font title. Let's do a large title. Okay, I'll play around with this. I'm sure I'm just missing something. Is it the order that I have things in? Huh. Maybe? Let's put this. Let's take out this first. Whoa, I don't know what that was. Alright, I'm gonna play around with it. My goal is to get gray squares. Alright, I'm going to stop the video while I play around. I have absolutely no idea unless this has been totally discontinued. That was weird. Sets the specific style to render backgrounds within the view. Okay, that's really weird. Wonder if this is one of those weird update glitches, but the background style didn't work. So if I hit that one, and I said gray, it goes away completely. As soon as I get rid of the word style, it comes back. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. Anyways, so I just formatted it a little bit. And you know what? These are a little bit small for me, so I'm going to just make this font actually over here. I'm going to make this font also be a title font, just so that they're bigger. That way it looks kind of like a game, a little less. Yeah. This video has gone way too much because, again, I was looking for that font. I wonder what happens when I get rid of this. Oh, there we go. Doesn't like that. So Control Z. So there we go. That was weird. But now I have it all set up. Nothing happens, but that's going to be clicking is going to be my next video.